Okay, very good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Fasila and Vishrut, to join this afternoon for the presentation. Okay, today our intern students, Faiz and Jason, are going to present a lean canvas on agile training in Malaysia and Vietnam. A lean canvas is sketch of a business model on a single page. So using lean canvas, we could think about our customers, what our customers are looking for, how we serve them, and how the numbers stack up, and finally how we could succeed. So we use lean canvas to capture all of this on one piece of paper. And today, Faiz from International Islamic University Malaysia is our first presenter. He's majoring in materials engineering and he has 4 years of experience as a plant engineer. Faiz will be presenting on agile training in Malaysia. Well, Faiz, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Ms. Yuva. Good afternoon to all of you. Today I'm going to present about the lean canvas business model in the Malaysia market in Malaysia. So so this is the slides that I have that I have prepared. So before we proceed to the lean canvas, I just want you to take a look on why do we need to think to another extent, whereby instead of we just think how to sell our product or how to sell our services, why not we think to another extent whereby we try to solve people's problem, especially in Malaysia, and at the same time we can sell our product or services. So let's take a look on these two companies. So these two companies, as I believe that all of you know, Starbucks and McDonald's. So basically Starbucks is not just selling the coffee or drinks, and same goes to the McDonald's. McDonald's not just selling fries and burgers, so they are actually selling other things other than what we look. So Starbucks is actually not just selling coffee or drinks. They are also selling the people who purchase their drinks can have the experience of purchasing, or the experience during drinking at their cafe. So same goes to the McDonald's. So McDonald's is not just selling burgers and fries, but people can buy their time, whereby people can get the burgers and fries in just a few minutes. So that is why people still buying McDonald's burgers compared to other companies that provide F&B. So I can come up with two very important questions, which is the first one is why people need to go training with us. So as we all know that we are providing the agile management training. So we have to ask to ourselves that why people need to go training with us. And the second question is for me, more important is why people join the training at the first place. So I have asked few of my friends who right after graduating from their degree, why they still undergo some training like API, American Petroleum Institute training, and they get the professionally certificate API cert. And they told me that they want to increase the chances of securing job right after graduating. So they still choose to undergo training, and 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 sadly, they still most of them still cannot secure their job right after completing their training and professionally certified. So I just go through one by one, just very quickly. The problem in Malaysia, I mean, the bad situation in Malaysia. The first one is number of unemployment rate in Malaysia is quite high, especially since last 2 years due to pandemic. The second one is number of suicidal case in Malaysia is considered as high, even though I believe that Japan has higher cases compared to Malaysia. But for me, suicidal case in Malaysia is a very significant indicator in order for us to know whether the condition in Malaysia is bad or not. So the third one is Malaysians are underpaid. As we all know, especially Malaysian, we are strictly underpaid, and some other countries also. Um, can you imagine that a fresh grad engineer nowadays can earn the same salary as 30 years back? So really underpaid. So that is the problem. So this is the data that I got from World Bank, unemployment rate in Malaysia, and also the data that I got from Malaysia government, social security organization, government body. So this is the suicidal case in Malaysia. Not really severe, but for Malaysian, we consider it as serious, because this is not normal practice in Malaysia. I don't know, whereby you can see on the graph. A few years back, the graph shown very steadily, but over the last few years, the graph shown a bit increasing. So this is Malaysians underpaid. I got from Bank Negara Malaysia, whereby so whereby every effort worth $1,000, Malaysian worker are only paid $340. So yeah, let's take a look on Lean Canvas that I have prepared. So I will go one by one. The first one is the problem. So I have come up with 3 problems. The first problem is training fees are expensive. As we all know, I have gone through one by one all the competitors in Malaysia that provide agile training. All of them, only 7 companies that I have gone through one by one. So all of them, their fees is very expensive. And the second one is the awareness of the importance of agile in Malaysia is still considered as low. And the last one is no job security right after training. So let's take a look on the customer segment. So my customer segment is first is unemployed. The second one is fresh grad, and the third one is executive. I mean, the executive is people who have already secured their job, but they want to level up their skill, and they want to get a better promotion from another company, or from the company that they are working. So among those 3, I will focus more on the unemployment, because the rate of unemployment is very serious. And as we have seen before, the data that I have shown, the unemployment rate for Malaysian, the first quarter of this 2021 is 770,000 people plus. So it is very crucial. Now let's take a look on UVP, which is unique value proposition. The first one is I want to give the assurance to customer segment, secure their job. And the second one is clients or participant will have zero risk. So as we all know that every participants that join any companies that provide training, they need to pay some amount of money, which I consider is very expensive, and they still most of them still cannot secure their job. So it is very risky for them, especially for young fresh grad that they don't own enough money to join the training. So the third one is the solution. What are the solution? The solution that I will try to give is the first one is to give the training course free. I mean the fundamental course, probably like fundamental course for Agile training. And the second one is to organize a free webinar on Agile, which is quite commonly applied in Malaysia for many companies. Not only for Agile training providers, but also for all of the Sifu or all of the gurus in Malaysia. So the third one is to create the short videos and the importance of Agile. So this is to enhance the awareness of the importance of Agile in Malaysia and the importance of having a Agile mindset in Malaysia. So the last one is to offer job placement for the participant that join the training with us. So let's take a look on the unfair advantage. So the unfair advantage is I will give you two. So first one is collaboration with Japanese companies. So as we all know that we are now collaborating with Gravity Corporation and also probably few companies in Japan. And the second one is collaboration with Malaysia government. As I told you before that I got the data of unemployment in Malaysia from the Social Security Organization, which is one of the Department of Human Resource, Ministry of Human Resource in Malaysia. So that is good enough, I think. So let's take a look on the revenue, whereby the revenue we can get profit from three different sources. The first one is the training fees itself, and the second one is the exam fees, whereby we right after completing the training, we will assess the participants their understanding on the training that they have undergone. So the third one is Japanese course, which related to the UVP that I have mentioned before, to assure or to give job assurance to a participant. So in order for them to well fit enough to work in some other countries, especially like in Japan, they need to master Japanese language in order for them to work well fit. So let's take a look on the cost structure. The cost structure I have itemized 6 altogether. The first one is hosting and also domain, which is very familiar, especially if you want to build a website. We need to have a domain and also hosting. The third one is the trainers or the instructors or the course module itself. Probably the trainers, it depends on the trainers itself, how much we need to pay them to train the participants. And the fourth one is the legal fees or stamp duty. Right after completing the training, they have to undergo the exam. So when they pass the exam, we will give them assurance of getting job. So they need to have like a contract or agreement between us and the participant in order for them to, in order for all parties to satisfied. The second last is ads, advertisement. I will explain later. And the last one is the miscellaneous, which we think now is not important, but probably maybe later we need them. So let's take a look on the key metrics. Yeah, the key metrics I have four. The first one is number of people share. I mean, for example, in Facebook page, we post content, and when people share, it shows that the content is valuable. So it is one of the indicators that we can evaluate how people respond to our content. So the second one is number of people comment. I mean, the people put commenting represent they are interested to our training or to our services. So the third one is number of likes, which is for me is very easy to get. And the last one is website traffic, or the database that we got from the website. So the last part of the lean canvas is the channels. So I have 4 channels altogether. The first one is Google and YouTube. The second one is Facebook, website, and also LinkedIn. So let's take a look one by one, as what have been requested by Mr. Komodo. So this is the number of clients, expected number of clients that I have prepared for few platform, especially Facebook, Instagram, Google, and the platform, the two last platform is social security organization, which I have mentioned before, the government body from human resources, Ministry of Human Resources. And the last one is FB group. So for your information, the last two platform is organic, which is no need to pay for the advertisement. I mean, it is free ads. So the first three is we need to pay the ads in order for us to promote or to market our product. So people reach is calculated based on the data that Facebook, Instagram, and Google have provided me. I have nearly launched the ads. So I show you the example of the ads that I have nearly launched. So this is the Facebook. I'm really sorry that I still insist to write the ads in Bahasa, in Malay language, because my market segment is Malaysian. So I think the most suitable language that I can use is Malay language. But I still can show you the example of yeah. So this is the example of ads that I have nearly launched. So as you can see here, peluang kerja di Jepun is in English is a job opportunity in Japan. So this is the Facebook interface. This is the Instagram, and this is on the Messenger. So for the Facebook, the daily estimated is 426 people reach, provided only 5 ringgit. I mean, in dollars is like $1.3 only for 1 day ad spend for daily. So people reach will be 426, and the quality one probably around 18 to 52. I mean, they will click on the link that we provide, so they will directly channel to the website. I mean, the sales page that we will provide. So same goes to the Instagram, Facebook, and Instagram. Instagram is owned by Facebook, so the setting is similar. I mean, the same setting that I have shown you just now. So the link click and the people reach also the same, but it will be slightly lower compared to the Facebook. So this is the Google that I have nearly launched also. The ads, so also RM5, which is $1.3 per day. So it will reach up to 230 up to 370 in 1 month. So this is the setting that I have set in Facebook group for advertisement. So as you can see here, the customer, I call it as customer avatar. I mean, the detail of the customer is very well defined. As you can see at the bottom is the graph, the meter showed well defined. Audience is defined. So actually, the potential customer is 9.6 million based on the setting that I have put, but I only take 1.2 million for Facebook group, which is for me is good estimation, not too happy first. So yeah, so these are all the companies, competitors that I have gone through one by one. The price in US dollar, I have converted to US dollar. And as you can see here, formulations is considered as quite expensive, but only for the first company is tertiary Infotech Sdn Bhd, only 211, very cheap compared to the other companies, because I have seen that the companies only provide 1 day training, but for other companies they provide 3 days 3 days training. So that's why the fees is very cheap, and probably the cost covered is like fundamental. So the average is like for like 2000 or nearly 2000, 1800 or 1600 US dollar. So it is considered as quite expensive for Malaysians, especially young fresh grad. So this is the product lineup. I categorize as 3 product lineup. The first one is diamond, platinum, and the titanium. So all of them will get the agile training, the exam, and also the job placement, which is my UVP, unique value proposition, secure the participant job. But for the platinum and titanium, but for the platinum and titanium only, they have Japanese course. So the training will only the training materials for Agile and language course is provided for only titanium. So the price range is from 1,200 US dollar up to 1,700 US dollar, which is still considered as cheap as compared to the few companies that provide Agile training in Malaysia. And they don't give job assurance. So I think that is really cheap and promising for the participant to join the training provided by us. So this is the annual expected profit and loss report. I will show you. Yeah, this is what I have prepared. So the Facebook, I got the number people converted is 197 people annually. So these are all annual, no monthly or year or daily. So for the diamond is around 23,236 US dollar yield. Also the ads is very cheap. I told you RM5 only, which is 1.3 US dollar per day, which is 437 US dollar per year for Facebook and Instagram and Google. So altogether is 1,311 US dollar. So the total revenue is 1.94 million expected for 12 months, and after deducting the cost, it will be 1.94 million US dollar per year. So I think that's all from me. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Well,
You got
thank you
any
so much.
questions? Yeah.
First, thank you for your presentation.
Yeah. Thank you.
And
I have a question about social security organization. I don't get that before. Please explain about the details of the social.
Kimoto-san, sorry. Uno-san, can you close your microphone? Okay. Kimoto-san, もう一度お願いします。
Edo-san, thank you for your advice. First, I have a question about the social security organization.
Yeah.
This is the first impression for me. Please explain about the detail of social security organization in Malaysia.
Yeah. Social Security Organization in Malaysia is one of the department under Ministry of Human Resource. So the Social Security in Malaysia, we call it as in English SOCSO. In Bahasa, we call it as Pekeso. So each workers in Malaysia, each workers in Malaysia need to participate in Social Security, whereby they have the database of unemployment in Malaysia, and they are right now they are working very hard to help those who lost their job and who unemployed to secure their job, especially in Malaysia. So they will do whatever it takes to help Malaysians to get a better job, or at least to secure their job. So one more thing that I have put in my link canvas is collaboration with the Social Security Malaysia. Most companies that provide training in Malaysia, Malaysia government give some incentive so that the participant will have no issue to join the training. So as we all know, the training is quite expensive for Malaysians. So Malaysia government, that body will give some incentive under HRDF. We call it as Human Resource Development Fund, to give some incentive to those who want to join the training and who want to level up their skill. So I think it is good for us to take the opportunity, whereby, as I have shown you the database, out of 700,000, I will only take 1 out of 1,000 people will close to join our to join our training. So I have not yet contact to any branch office of Social Security body in Malaysia, but it's not a big deal for me to try to contact them and try to have a good relationship with them in order for us to have a win-win situation and to help people in Malaysia especially.
Okay, first, second question. What the ministry in Malaysia handle the manage a social security organization in Malaysia?
The ministry is Ministry of Human Resource.
Oh, human
Yeah.
resource.
Yeah, human resource.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Faiz. You have done your best. Any questions for Faiz? Yes.
Faiz, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I really liked your presentation.
Thank you.
And maybe you will be surprised about what I liked most. I liked the first slide I liked the most. The first slide was with Starbucks and
McDonald's.
McDonald's,
Yeah.
because I think you really put a very strong light on the key problem that I have with Kimoto-san's idea. The point here is, what is your unique selling point? What's the name of your company? Kimoto-san dete konai.
Gravity.
Gravity. Yes. So
Gravity Corporation.
Gravity is trying to enter Malaysia
Market.
as a training company. They don't have any experience as a training company, not in Japan, not anywhere. Right? So it is a crowded market. We already know that. You're trying to reach students who are struggling. So what on earth are you going to add value to that market? Is that your unique selling point? I don't think so. I think your unique selling point, and you put that into your canvas, is that you have a link with a Japanese organization who is going to give you opportunities to actually get a job and be dispatched to projects to work in Japan. That is your unique proposition.
Yeah,
Now,
exactly.
in order to find the right people in Malaysia, you're not going to sell them anything. You're going to offer them the training for free. Of course. And then you get to know what they're made of. You're going to give them not only an agile training, you're going to give them some programming tasks, and you give some people the opportunity to engage with the training. Now, that's going to cost money. Perhaps you're going to make a deal with them in that contract that if they stay with you, that they have the opportunity to basically pay back the costs over a period of I don't know how long. But you are making money by dispatching people, not by training them. How are you going to compete with a course that's going to give them a PMP certification? It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. So I think actually, Faiz, you gave them 100% the right message. What is your unique selling point? And that's not giving trainings. Your unique selling point is that you are a Japan organization that sits on the potential to give people jobs. That is your unique selling point. So if you focus on that, you can be successful.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Edson.
I have a question.
Yes.
How did you get the number of access of Facebook and other SNS? How did you estimate the numbers?
Yeah. Well, actually, wait. I'll show you. Well, actually, I got the number. I got the numbers. I have the Facebook page. So since few years back, I have launched Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and also the Google ads. So I, like I said before, I have nearly launched an ad for this particular business. So this is the result that Facebook has given me, which is here. So here is the result that Facebook give. So today is Saturday. So on weekdays, only 18.
Sorry,
people
Faiz,
click.
are you showing you're showing us your deck? You're talking about the browser that you're looking at. Could that be?
Yeah. This is the real. I mean, this is the real Facebook ads that I have nearly launched. So before I launch the ads, Facebook has provided me the estimated daily result. So from there, I consider that to be the estimated numbers of sales. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, sorry. I thought you wanted to show us something in your Facebook dashboard, but you're showing us your PowerPoint presentation. That was my only question.
Okay. So yeah, come back to the question. I got the numbers from the Facebook that Facebook provided me the numbers, whereby I have nearly launched the ads, which is exactly what I have presented. So out of that numbers, I only take 3% for Facebook, Instagram, and Google. But for the social security organization body under government in Malaysia, the database is 700,000 plus. But I only take 1 out of 1,000. And for FB group, I only take 1/10,000 people. So altogether, the number of people converted is 1,269. So am I answered your question?
Okay, by the way, Ed, you recommended them those training fees should be free instead of try to looking for the opportunity those people sending to Japan
Yes.
for hiring, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with you. Did you analyze Malaysian training market?
He did.
Did you analyze
Yeah.
Malaysian training market?
Yeah. I did analyze.
This figure is a current average?
Yeah. The figure is latest by first quarter of 2021. I got all the data from the Malaysia government, also from the World Bank, and also from the Bank Negara Malaysia.
Right. So you see that the training companies are asking money, but because they are incurring costs, they are actually putting those advertisements up on Facebook and all the other SNS channels, and they are hiring trainers, etc. But that is their goal. Basically, Gravity's goal is to find good people. That is how you make money. So if you really want to attract people, then why don't you invite them for free and with the promise that the most promising people will be extended an offer to actually maybe offer the position, or maybe you come up with something else to be invited to a Japanese language training or into a coding exam or something like that. And if you pass that, you will have the opportunity to get a contract.
Yeah.
And if you do that, okay, it's a cost, but your costs, I think, will be money much better spent than trying to develop expensive training materials and investing it in marketing and competing in a market and never get to meet the people that you actually want to meet, because that's the objective of your organization.
Yeah. Well, I have mentioned just now that Malaysia government under human resource has put some incentive for those who want to level up or skill up their knowledge. So government give some incentive, like nearly free for them to join the training under HRDF. We call it as Human Resource Development Fund. So under that fund, government will give Malaysian training for free, provided the participant and also the companies comply to the requirement by the Malaysia government. So I think the one who will pay first is Malaysia government.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you will need to go through a lot of red tape in order to be to qualify for those subsidies, because you will need to prove that you provide value for your training, etc. But it's a very good proposition. I think if you actually combine it with the promise that some of the people will become candidates to actually be getting a job, that would be wonderful, because that will be actually killing
Promising.
two birds with one stone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Ed, I agree with you. I think they're much more focused on the get together, expecting some subsidy by government, and actually try to get money from Malaysian people. It's a little bit difficult. Expand their audience to try to inviting their company.
I believe Kimoto-san, the original idea was actually to find talented students, right? Sorry, you're close.
Edson,
Hi.
last year, I already record the Agile training videos in Vietnam. But we have no marketing plan last year. Therefore, we should find what is the success plan to spread the Malaysian market and the Vietnam market. Therefore, we could hire the general internship Malaysian and Vietnamese this year. Therefore, I asked them, please find out a good marketing plan to spread this Agile training course.
I will tell you what the best marketing plan would be.
Because
you get on an airplane, you go to Malaysia, you plan 2 weeks, and you go from university to university. You put some posters at the campus, and you invite people to come to the training. You get to talk to them personally. You go to Starbucks, have a coffee, and get to know, oh, this is a good guy, this is a good girl. And then you invite them for follow-up. That is the best marketing plan you can do.
Yes, I know, but I couldn't visit a foreign country.
Okay, I know. Malaysia is total NG with COVID. COVID is still difficult. But that is the best marketing plan. Don't make it more difficult than it is. You want to get to know people. So really get to know people.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. For pointing out the unique selling point, we will keep that in mind.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Uno-san and Ed-san. Oh, Vishnu. Yes.
I've seen you before, haven't I?
He was our previous intern student.
Yeah. I think I saw you in Japan.
Vishnu is 2019 digital internship.
Right.
He visited the UND school sometime.
Good to see you again.
Thank you. Good to see you too. So thank you, Faiz, for your presentation. So I wanted to know that we were giving some kind of trainings, and then we were also giving them the opportunity to get a job in Japan. So I wanted to know, like, in what fields are we giving them training, and what will be the job opportunity in the field of, like, in programming, in product management, or like something else?
Yeah. As you can see previously from my example of ads that I have put. So the criteria of the market segment that I have put in Facebook, Google, and also the Instagram is for IT and engineer base. So for those who graduate from IT or engineer, that will be my focus as of today. So as we know, in Japan, area of IT and IT and engineering is quite familiar, and Japan is one of the leading company in engineering and IT. I can consider one of the country in this world that lead this sector. So yeah.
Okay, I would like to answer to this question, Vishnu. Actually, we are trying to approach this training to Malaysian university students, and we would like to approach them that we could give them the job guarantee as well, but we haven't specified the field yet. So the jobs that we have, that we are currently going to offering them, is only for software engineering field. We haven't specified yet.
Okay, but the training like which this course will provide will be in Agile, like Agile and
Yeah,
correct.
So wouldn't it be difficult to judge them on their software engineering background? Because like a software engineer should have a little bit knowledge of Agile, but a lot of knowledge of software engineering. And like if we are saying that they are getting a job guarantee, they should also be judged a lot on the software engineering background, and somewhat on like Agile training which they'll be getting. So that's how you get like good engineers. And like I'm working as a senior software engineer, like now we also got a funding of $1 billion. So I'm working at Grofers. So like I personally, like, now when I became a senior software engineer, that's when I started to get into the Agile part of the organization. But when I was like a junior software engineer or a software engineer, I was mostly working on the software engineering part, and I was doing less stuff on like the product management, the and using Agile and scrums, stand-ups, etc. So I think that like that training should also have some part of like software engineering to it, so that you can judge people better.
Yeah,
That's the beautiful
exactly.
part of it, actually. And that's the beautiful part of it, because if things go right, everybody in the room will have the software development skills. You know that. So people will not come to a software development training. People will not have many practical skills in Scrum and Agile and what those practical skills that you will develop later. So I don't think that is a very bad idea, but you're absolutely right. I mean, that's just the first step. The next step should be how to assess somebody's programming skills, how to assess somebody's communication skills, etc. But that is basically that is something that I assume the company knows as a dispatch company, so they should be familiar with that. So that the assessment process should definitely follow up. I completely agree with that.
I agree too. Thank you. Thank
By
you,
the
Vishnu.
way, Ed, I have one concern. If you are to emphasize on how to, deliver the software engineer skill over to Japan, but usually they are required for the Japanese language skill or beforehand.
Yeah, definitely.
Of course, they need a bridge system engineer speaking Japanese, but also majority people are not so well understanding Japanese, but you are expecting for skilled software engineers with Agile development. This is mainly objective. Is that right? Or
Yeah.
are you expecting some Japanese language training? But this is only you expecting hire from outside instead of train themselves using Japanese.
Ono-san, for this, yeah, to work in Japan, the candidate, they have to learn Japanese language. But to those who are really interested to work in Japan, we would like to approach to them the Japanese course as well inside when we are trying to approach the Agile course. So it's like Agile course plus the Japanese course as well, if they are interested.
Yeah,
to work in
I
Japan,
know
and
some,
then only
yeah, I know some Japanese company in Da Nang. They are teaching Japanese language with agile development, but this is very hard. So I think you're going to build a new company. Also, I know the one company in Bangladesh. My former subordinate is have a company. They are teaching Japanese with agile development, but this is very hard, and they require lots of effort for develop market, no? And many people not willingly to study Japanese because they understand so hard. So you said agile training with Japanese language is I seriously consider for that kind of type of training? It's very difficult. I'm not recommend for kind of sort of development. You had better focus on agile development way as a software engineer, but you need to consider thinking for some Japanese speaking system engineer get together how to deliver to Japan. This is it might be capable, but from the first step, if you try to give them Japanese language with agile system engineer training, it looks almost difficult. How do you think?
Oh, Uno-san, I don't think like Agile is not rocket science. It's actually a lot of common sense that can be taught in a few days. So it's not really something that you will need to do a lot of training in. It's basically just the first step to onboard people, to get people interested. Japanese, on the other hand, will take you years to master. So I'm not really sure whether you need to combine the two. The agile part you will have done within a week. The Japanese part will take you probably 2 years or more.
we'll think about
Yeah.
it.
So it means, let's see, without Japanese teachers' involvement heavily for those people, it's almost impossible. Of course, recently you can use SNS from Japan to teaching Malaysian audience. Student is capable, but this is different approach. What he presented just now on his material. So it means it said like looks like a language school teaching Japanese.
But what's wrong with that? I mean, also from the perspective of the company, it's important to know what progress your students are making and when they're ready to actually start to engage directly with an organization or not. So if you set up 2 evenings per week or maybe 2 times 2 hours per week, then you have 4 hours. You still have like 36 hours for the rest of the week that you can use in software development, and the rest is self-study. I don't think that's that bad.
Are you sure?
Well, Uno-san and Ed-san, we still have one more presenter. He's still waiting.
Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Just a moment. It is very very important. If just Ed mentioned, sort of Japanese language training included. In this case, is Malaysian student had better come to Japan for Japanese language training for like 6 months or like 1 year. Then they can assign to the Japanese company. Otherwise, very difficult to work and get together with Japanese company. Or currently in Vietnam, many companies what they are doing is they try to get the job and actually working in Vietnam instead of coming to Japan. Sort of, work that actually undergoing, like Kimoto tried to find some job, and the job itself delivered to Malaysia. In Malaysia, people are developing system over there. If so, if doing so, I think some approach might be capable with kind of training. And instead, people going to Japan. People going to Japan is just face-to-face development with Japanese people. They got a lot of complaint will coming from Japanese customer. So I think we had better more seriously consider for the case example actually prevailing in many cases prevailing in Vietnam, not in Malaysia. And we had better carefully observe what those sort of company are doing in maybe some in Malaysia, but I don't know. But many cases is happening in Vietnam. So must be careful to consider.
But during this stage of training and getting to speak Japanese, you'd normally work with an intermediary, somebody who speaks the Japanese language and who distributes the specifications and divides them into tasks for the developers. And during this time, the developers can grow, master the Japanese language, and then when they're ready, they can actually grow within the organization and connect directly with the Japanese customer and actually start to take on the role that as a manager. So it is also a very good incentive to study Japanese.
How many years you stayed in Japan already? 12 years?
Since 2007, so 14 years.
14 years. So currently we can speak Japanese, but usually I know that some Vietnamese and Malaysians, not easy for them to study Japanese. Not easy. Can guess Yuba is doing work with Japanese company for already several years, but still not yet enough. So it's not easy. Japanese is one of the most difficult.
I know it's very, very tough.
Of course, they get to study Japanese speaking. They got a lot of advantage to get money, but it's many people eager to study in Vietnam, but they can get enough to communicate with Japanese people.
It depends on the person. There are people who can really pick it up rather quickly. I know quite a few Indian IT people who are very well capable of discussing IT. And don't forget, I mean, IT is basically universal language, not so much Japanese or English. I mean, it's basically if you happen to discuss technical matters, then language comes much closer than when you are talking about more abstract, holistic ideas. And then the language component becomes much heavier. So it depends a little bit on the topic. If you need to get user requirements, yeah, I think it's probably more difficult for a foreigner to engage with Japanese people. But if you can engage with the client from a ready-made product design, it becomes a lot easier.
Currently, overseas people, they consider for Bridge SE, and he communicates with Japanese people. But the other system engineers, they are not directly communicate with Japanese. Key Bridge SEs communicate with Japanese. So it's a 10 people team and 9 people, they just communicate with Bridge SE instead of Japanese. But how long do you consider for the kind of get familiar with Japanese customer? how long does it take? 1 year or 2 years?
Well, it really depends on the customer. It really depends on the customer. Like you said, you're absolutely right. Customer complaints. I know we have the same issue. I manage a team of Indian people, and they engage with my clients or the clients within our organization. And I have a colleague who also manages a team of Indian people who engage with her clients, and she has a lot of complaints. I don't have complaints for some reason. It is a matter of perception, a matter of actually guiding the Indian people to understand what we require, what the Japanese clients expect, so that they know what they're sensitive to, and helping them to accept those standards, as even they might sometimes sound very unreasonable in the eyes of foreigners, but that is just a matter of sense. And on the other hand, if there are problems, then escalate them to me, and I try to mediate. And it becomes, actually people become happy because they see actually that the Indians are actually contributing a lot to our product. And so there are very little problems in the end, but it takes time. It took us probably almost 2 years before actually both sides were really happy about the results.
By the way, you think spec must be written in English, right?
Well, that is more out of necessity than of anything else.
What do you mean?
For me.
What do you mean? In
Well,
Japanese?
I don't want to write it in Japanese if I can
In
avoid
Japanese
it.
is almost difficult, impossible for
Yeah,
them to
I
understand.
think if you try to translate it, the meaning will change slightly, and it can have very big consequences.
So it means we more deeply consider for the how organize training session to communicate with Japanese company, and specification written in English, but not to simply convert it into English, but also they need to add how to process develop Agile development with Japanese style. What I say is not the same. Japanese way of development is different from India, different from Asian countries. So we need to give them the kind of more different habits or different customs how to develop system, right?
Right.
So kind of area
Yeah, it's really one of the most difficult thing.
Yeah,
one of the most difficult things, I think, it is definitely the cultural component is very strong when it comes to building systems. In Japan, the central question is, what if? And they try to cover every single use case there can be thought of, even though the chances of that use case ever occurring is 0.01%. Still, if it happens, we need to be ready and respond to it, which means that there is a lot of effort, a lot of programming effort is invested into features that
it means
are completely unnecessary.
Yeah,
the UI looks like a dog barfed.
Yeah.
It's terrible, but yeah, it's a mentality, and Japanese customers expect it because they want to be ready for every situation. And even as a software developer, you need to be prepared for that.
Yeah,
And you need.
Actually, currently I'm writing book, as you know, for how to doing business with Japanese people, right? So it means we need to, or Malaysian people or instructors need to understand kind of Japanese customs habits who gives them, including their training sessions. Otherwise, they have big difficulty confrontation with Japanese people,
Definitely.
right? So still you are thinking the kind of training must be free.
Yes.
Got it, Uno-san. We'll consider about it. Thank you, Uno-san and Edo-san.
That moment, it
I would
means
like to start next presentation.
Yuva, Gome, can we have a two minute
sure.
breathing
Great.
time before we
this is
Suddenly,
this is
breathing time?
very important issues.
Yeah.
And this is just only the agile development. Just as said, agile development system method is not difficult. Most difficulty is how to develop system with Japanese. Waterfall, agile, what kind? Okay.
Mm.
Most difficulty is how to communicate with Japanese people and how to get their commitment for system development. So who knows that kind of how? Ed, you just left. What happened? Okay, you go.
He
Ed
actually
left.
went for.
Okay, you go ahead, next one. But just keep in mind, okay? And you need to consider for, or if you like, I'll give you my material, how to do business with Japanese, but not easy. Okay, for
Got
this,
it,
most majority effort should going to be considered. Okay, go ahead.
Got it. Let's wait for Ed-san as well. So once he joined back, then we start with me.
Wash your hands.
Huh?
Wash your hands.
Wash hand. Go ahead.
Really? Okay, so next, a charming young man, Jason, from FPT University, Vietnam. He's majoring in information assurance. And Jason, he's head of a company named G College Singapore. And he has 4 years of experience in marketing and education, then 1 year plus of experience in product management and business analytics. And now Jason will be presenting on agile training in Vietnam. Well, Jason, you may take the floor.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. And it's an honor to me to present today my research and my performance during the past 4 weeks with Gravity. And it's about the Agile training service in Vietnamese market. And there will be three main parts today. I would love to show to all of you. The first is market overview of Vietnamese market. The second is my business model that I created, and the last one is the predicted revenue streams and cost. So let's get started with the market overview. As you can see on the screen, Vietnam has a potential market. Currently, it's over 400,000 IT engineers in Vietnam, and every year there will be 55,000 IT students graduate. And among them, there are 85.4% of IT companies adopt Agile. So Agile is a very highly demand skill, and it requires almost every IT professionals to know about it, because most of the companies adopt Agile for management. And also there are 45.2% of developers across Vietnam learn via online courses. And as you can see here, even the number of IT engineers increased over the year, but the lackage in IT professional is still increasing. Is that from just about under 100,000 lackage of IT students, and until expected in 2022, it will be 150,000 vacancy that cannot be filled in by only Vietnamese population. So and also I have done some research on the competitors that also provide Agile training in Vietnam. And there's some major point I would love to show you. Firstly, the current competitors in Vietnam, they almost only mention that their direct customers will be the one that at managerial level learners, and they do not really include students in their scope of customer segments. And all of that, I surveyed 8 the biggest companies, and only one of them focus on B2C business model, which is they will work directly with the customers and end user and customer. But other ones, beside B2C courses, they also provide and offer a wide range of consulting and training services for different businesses and corporations. And the main business they are doing, most of them have B2B business model, and only 1 out of 8 is doing B2C. And also the price range of the courses in Vietnam, most of them are over 100, most of them are over $200. And we can imagine in Vietnam, the average monthly income is just nearly $200. So the course compared to the average monthly income may cost a lot compared to other countries, because in Vietnam, people don't quite earn that much monthly, especially fresh graduate and university students when they have just graduated and they have no jobs and not really a stable income sources. So there's some name of the direct competitors and indirect competitors. The direct competitors, most of them are focused, like all of their business is dedicated to Agile training, or they work directly with the end user, which is B2C business model. And the other indirect competitors, they are like, they train different things, but after when the trend adopts and the IT revolution comes to Vietnam, and then they provide additional extra service for Agile training. So that would make them indirect competitors. There was the name on the screen. And there's 3 common approaches of Vietnamese businesses right now. Firstly, their courses and training are very student-centered. Well, because they have the geographical advantage, the local companies encourage offline classes so that they can increase interaction, and also apart from the knowledge itself, they can provide the connection between people, the networking during working professional. And second approach that can majorly seen is they tend to partner with leading companies or leading universities in Vietnam, because when they can partner with those companies and university, they can vividly boost their company's credibility, and also they help customers to imagine the standard of training they are about to experience. For example, when FPT software in Vietnam provide training, and when the student approach the course and read the review, they know that the training is at the company standards, so that if they finish the course, they can use it and apply for the company, and they can adapt to their system as quickly as possible. And the last approach is online marketing. They do a lot of social media, advertisement, and search engine optimization, because all of those companies that I researched all come from top 11 Google search with the keyword like Agile training, Vietnamese Agile training, Agile project management training. They all come as the top 11 of Google search, which is the first page. So within the market potential, the competitor approach, and from what the business model they are doing, I come to my business model, my expected business model for Gravity to go to market in Vietnam. So this is the lean canvas I created, but the text is quite small, so I'll move one by one in the next slides. So first, my expected customer segment, I think we should provide trainings for beginners, and those include university students, fresh graduates, engineers, and of course, those who want to learn new skills. And what would be my ideal customers? I think our ideal customer possess three elements. First is IT, they are majored in IT or they are switching to IT fields, switch industry. Secondly, they want to work in Japan or for a Japanese company in Vietnam or in any other Asian countries. And thirdly, they can study a Vietnam-Japan degree because there's certain university in Vietnam, they provide the degree in Japanese, so that most of the students are very industrial ready and linguistically ready for Japanese market. And they learn about the culture, the language, and also the IT major itself. So they are very, very potential customer for our business in Vietnam. And what are their problems exactly? Firstly, I detect that people opt for online training because they do not have much time and flexibility for interactive class. Because if you go to university and you are partly struggle with a part-time job to have the living expense, you definitely do not have much time to commute across districts and with a lot of traffic jam for interactive class, which is a Zoom online class or offline class, because it will have a fixed schedule and it's not really flexible for a busy lifestyle in Vietnam. Second problem would be YouTube has everything, but not everyone can shortlist what is practical, what is not, what is the order to learn. So they might not know whether the online available courses are practical or not, helpful or not, or is the course equip you with the industrial skill. So they have no idea about that. And the third problem is that they do not have seniors or peers to connect, because as every fresh graduate and university students, I myself want to connect as much as possible to prepare for my career up ahead. And skills are one thing, but networking is as much as important, and a lot of people are lacking it. So what can we bring to them? What Gravity Corporation can help them solve those problems, but no other alternatives can provide? Firstly, we can provide Japanese or international training standards. There's a culture shade of the unique value proposition in Vietnam. People have a considerable favoritism towards Japanese products, because the amount of sale of consumer goods, Japanese consumer good in Vietnam double every single year for the past 5 or 6 years. And Vietnamese people, myself, I'm born and raised to love Japanese product, because we, with a middle class family where I and my family can afford more quality product, we love to have a very, very, very highly quality product from Japanese, and just as many as other Vietnamese people. Second unique value proposition we can provide is that we can refer our learners to Gravity Corporation and its partners across Asia, the branch in Malaysia, the branch in Japan, the branch in Vietnam. And if we ever expand, there will be more and more partners, and it won't stop. It's just like a boom. But once you can connect one, it's just interpersonal connecting together. And thirdly, I would love to provide them is a community of Asian IT professionals. METI internship that I'm currently on is an effort of Japanese government to connect international talents with Japanese companies, but I think we can take another step and we can connect international talents with international companies within Asia. So that's what is my UVP, and how do we really employ those MVP with 3 main solutions. Firstly is training, as they need a very clear guidance. We provide series of training videos with clear guidance guideline. This will not be much special. The second solution is we need to be practical with them. So we can provide them, because we have a lot of business partners, we can provide them with real business cases analysis, and we can have them do coursework. Because when you apply for a position in the company, it is more likely you will got offered if you have experience before. And I hope that in the time they learn with us, they have the opportunity to do coursework, like real project, so that they can have a cumulative experience in their expertise. And lastly, the community, of course, is the community of Asian IT engineer. And in general, the solution that I want to provide them is will be a LinkedIn for Asian IT professionals, but it will different from LinkedIn because people won't do business up there. They do recruiting, they do training, and they do connect. So what are the channels? I think there are three major channels in Vietnam that we can approach our customer in next year. Firstly, social media. Well, everyone in Vietnam use social media from 18 to 35 years old. Is the biggest market of Facebook marketing in Vietnam. And secondly, I would love to do as many collaborations and partners as possible. I would love to aim for private university and colleges, because public universities are not really willing to take the training from outside, and they're not really willing to pay for the training other than their curriculum and their already existed public partners. And secondly, IT companies, of course. And lastly, is Google. We all know everyone goes to Google, and search engine optimization will be a very effective tool to boost our credibility and our visibility within the new market. So with a lot of things, what do we have that Vietnamese local business cannot really copy easily? Firstly, is the Japanese branding, because it's really difficult for local business to achieve such branding, because they have to go through a lot of process and procedure to get certified with Japanese standards. So it will not be an easy task to copy. Secondly, we have an international community, because we are strong, we have different connections across Asia. We can branch our business fast and conveniently, and we can provide the community that that few companies in Vietnam can be able to provide. And lastly, we can train in different languages. If we are so Asian focused, we can train in different languages to show them that they are care and they should be proud as an Asian. We already can train now in Japanese, in English, in Vietnamese, and in Malaysian. So already 4 languages. And if we expand, we definitely can go for more languages with the same content. So after all of the business model, the solution, the problems, what is the predicted revenue streams and costs? I create the revenue streams and cost prediction on a very high level concept. So it may not be too detailed and how in the execution plan, but we have some kind of numbers. So firstly, revenue streams, I will have 3 different revenue streams. Firstly is subscription fee. So the fee students or the professionals will pay to access to our courses. The secondly is job referral fee. So when we partner with different companies, so when we can successfully refer an IT candidate to their IT job, we can get the commission. And thirdly, job advertisement. So companies want to post jobs with premium service on our platform because we have a strong community. So how is the expected and predicted figures? I would say in here, there's some, with the subscription fee and job advertisement, I benchmark the fee on different leading domestic and international service providers. So firstly, with subscription, we have three different payment plans. Firstly is monthly billed, secondly is annually billed, and the last one is for student because majorly we work with student. So we have DataCam, we have LinkedIn, we have Codecademy, which provide the same method, which is subscription to access to the learning. But we can see LinkedIn and Codecademy is quite expensive, but DataCam, they work in a niche of an IT industry, which is all about data and machine learning and data scientists, and they're very focused on a niche of IT industry. And we are doing the same. We are doing Agile training, and in the future we do quantum computing as well, but it's just a niche of IT industry. And I think we have no way to exceed the course that DataCam is providing because they already quite popular and we are entering the market, so that the cost should be lower because, well, after all, the unique value proposition does not come from the course we are providing. So I expect the total of number of students in the first year would be a month, like averagely a month will have 960 students, and with the total gross revenue is nearly $100,000. And how did I calculate the number of students? I use the previous figures I show in the Vietnam market. I take the audacity to think that in Vietnam, our market size will be 5% of the target market, which is people who want to learn IT skill online and who want to apply into Agile company, Agile adopted company. That's for a subscription fee. Job referral fee, the fee on the cost, not really, the revenue per job is $25 to $100. This is, I cannot benchmark anything on this. I use my personal experience within my past companies or my friends, some of my connection friends company. They usually pay other people, or even of course they will make the exception for internal employee, their employee, but with other people they would love to pay $25 to $100 for a junior and internship position in their companies. The fee may vary, depends on the positions and the number of candidates a year. I would say we can refer successfully 120 jobs and get about $3,000 to $12,000 a year. The number of candidates, there's about 120,000, nearly 120,000 open jobs, IT open jobs in Vietnam a year. So I would say we get 0.1% out of them, successfully refer them to our partners. And the last one is job advertisement. Of course, we create a community. So I think when they raise their voice and they post job, it will be free, and different platforms provide the same service. It's always free. But with premium service, when they shortlist the candidate, they send the CV, they do the tag like hot job or top leading job or high salary job, or they try to push the email notification to the customer. There's a lot of different execution phase, but I would say it's a premium service. So which means we help the customers, like the business, to find the candidates more effectively and more efficiently. So, and we can see on LinkedIn, they charge $99, like $100 a month on two different platforms, leading platform in Vietnam. One charge $70 for one post in 1 month, and one charge over $300 for 1 month of posting job. So I would say Gravity can benchmark the same price with LinkedIn, because LinkedIn, mostly the recruiter need themselves to approach the candidates, and without any filtering from LinkedIn on and other platforms. They work in headhunting and HR solutions, so they provide very deep solution. But we have a community. We work it in very blooming industry, which is IT, and we also we can definitely help them shortlist the candidate. And we also have a training to verify the qualification of the candidates they are approaching on our customer bike. So I would say the price can be the same, which is $100 a month. And I would say averagely we have 12 customers a month. I'm not sure this number. Let's say averagely each month we have 12 customers. So through the whole years we have 12 customers pay 12 months. So the gross revenue should be nearly $15,000, and the total gross revenue a year with minimum somewhere between $112,000 and max would be over just a little bit over $120,000 a year in the next 12 months. And what is the predicted cost for the go-to-market strategy? I think I would say with startup marketing costs usually cost much higher than well-established company, and we are entering a new market. So I would say it can be 20% of the gross revenue, and partnership and collaboration is 10% of the students, of 10% of the revenue we can get from the students and the partner companies, because there's a part of companies and colleges and university we have to partner with and to get students from them. So I would say 10% of it. Thirdly, we need a virtual office. So we have a representative in Vietnam so that if any collaboration or customer support or any risk control or something, we can have a representative. And it actually costs about $1,800 a year. With product development, I think we need to develop our own app. So averagely to develop an iOS app, it would take about $25 an hour to develop one, and about 400 hours to develop a fully functional app. So I would say $10,000 for an iOS app and $10,000 for an Android app in Vietnam. So it would be 20,000. And the lastly, human resources. We care about people with the holidays, the gift for them and their family, and other kind of welfare. So it take about $2,400 a year. So that's the total predicted cost from me, and that's the end of my presentation. And I'm open to any question.
Okay, thank you, Jason. Any questions for Jason?
Okay, first of all, how come you can, where did you study your English?
I study English in Vietnam.
Really? How come so frequently you can speak English?
I studied university in English, and I have worked 4 years in English with different my friends and co-workers from different countries.
So university lecture was in English?
Not exactly a lecture, but the material and the tests are all in English, and most of the term we learn in English.
Really? Where do you live now?
I live in Hanoi now, the capital of Vietnam.
It's amazing.
Thank you. That's great to hear.
Not many Vietnamese can speak English fluently like you, right?
Yes, I think I'm just in a very niche population that can speak English in Vietnamese fluently. So yeah, but nowadays there's a lot more people, young people, try to learn English at a very young age. So the trend will change in the subsequent 10 or 15 years, I guess.
Your English speaking is perfect.
Not exactly. I hardly use English in public. I mostly for work and mostly for school.
You mean currently, are you working somewhere?
I am currently a business owner of a non-profit organization, educational organization. Work with some friends in Singapore and a lot of different countries, majorly Singapore.
Okay. But anyway, good presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
That was very thorough. Sorry, I'm always. I believe your name is quite common in Vietnam. I've read it many times, but I've never pronounced it. Is it Nguyen? How do you?
Nguyen is actually family name.
Oh,
and over half of Vietnamese people have Nguyen family name, because there's some part of Vietnam when the regime is Nguyen regime. So a lot of people, they breed a lot, and a lot of Vietnamese people have under Nguyen regime like successors. So
I see. Okay, understood. Okay, so I think your plan is very ambitious.
Yes, I would say.
If I may be honest, I think that maybe it's a little bit too ambitious for a company the size of Gravity, because they have not even entered the market yet. And it seems to me that the competition is already quite well established. That the tail, and when I say tail, is that actually what you can offer around agile project management is actually very limited, because as we discussed before, there's actually not that much to learn. Basically, this is the way that we work. So it is for people who haven't worked under this method yet, to get them acquainted, so they know what to expect, they know what to do, and when they start to work in an agile environment. But whether this will actually result in a lot of people paying subscriptions, especially 5% of the target group, I'm not so sure. And people paying $9 a month, that is 4.5% of the average annual income. That also seems quite ambitious. So I think actually, when I go back a little bit to the beginning of your presentation, you were talking about an education, right? You were talking about education and having Gravity as a unique institute, and one of the things that other institutes cannot copy is that Gravity is a Japanese company. They have inroads in Japan. From your perspective, what would be the most benefit that a company like Gravity could offer? Would that be that they give you remote employment opportunities in Vietnam? Or do you think there would be much more interest from people in Vietnam to come to Japan to learn Japanese and to work on site? What do you think is actually what makes this proposition attractive for most people in Vietnam?
Yes. So, well, to the attraction of the proposition, as I said, a lot of Vietnamese people love Japanese, and it's a cultural shade. I can guarantee you that. I'm not readily have data to back me right now, but I'm pretty sure I can find that afterwards. And the proposition is, the proposition is not the job in Japan. as you can see, is the international job across Asia. And it's not really, because there's certain people that find it really difficult to learn Japanese, and they don't really necessarily learn Japanese to come to Japanese and work, because we provide a pool of international opportunity. So of course, English will be the major language, but there's some part of minor group of people can speak Malaysian or Japanese, or even Vietnamese, and etc., etc., and then they can come to that country with the opportunity provided from our pool, or otherwise they can access to English-speaking job across Asia. That's what I'm thinking of.
So what you're thinking of is that actually Gravity joins a network of companies that have local presence, have Japanese developers, and there are programmers in different countries with different language skills that could be dispatched, or just participate in projects that happen to be in that particular language. But that doesn't make Gravity a unique. The fact that Gravity is Japanese a unique selling point, because basically what you're saying is doesn't really make any difference to me. English is also fine. A foreign is actually fine.
I see. Well, because as with the top company, the recruiter company in Vietnam, I presented in the revenue streams. They are working only for IT field. They just be the headhunter for IT fields only, and they have already created their own market segment. And I think Asia, we can create our own market segment for just IT professionals, and it will be a different thing, because for example, when we compare to LinkedIn, it's very international, but it has a...
Sorry to interrupt you, but when you say we, who do you mean we?
Gravity, exactly.
But are you seriously saying that Gravity is going to compete with LinkedIn? We can do the same thing? No way.
No, I'm just trying. My point is that there's a gap of the market segment there. It's not, we are not competing LinkedIn, because they provide different the connection for different people from different industries, but we only focus on IT, and we only focus on Asian firsthand. So I think there's a gap there. I would say LinkedIn's are not really Asian welcomed, but our platform is creating for Asian. I think there might be a gap there for the market of Asian people with IT professionals.
But what we're seriously looking at is a company that is actually engaging in IT projects and is utilizing people with development skills, not necessarily only in Japan, but elsewhere, to be dispatched in Japan. So this is actually a completely different proposal that you are making, going into a different direction, actually starting to operate as a broker instead of a company that is delivering software development skills. That could be true, but think of it from the perspective of Gravity, that they are sitting in Japan. They don't have any presence in Vietnam. They actually are just considering, are we going to get into this market, yes or no? It seems to be what you're proposing is maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 steps, and maybe even a marathon away from where they are at the moment.
Oh, I see. Well, what I actually base on is that actually Gravity already has some presence in Ho Chi Minh City, but not really local office, but they have already provided.
They have a partner, right? Yeah.
Have already provides training for certain universities in Ho Chi Minh City. So I think they are already in the market, and with currently they have branch in Japan, they have branch in Malaysia, they have a small tiny bit of proportion in Vietnam market. I think it's a very good start for a community, and we can exponentially scale it if we actually invest in it. That's what I'm really thinking of.
Well, okay, you may be right, and we need to ask Kimoto-san whether or not he agrees. But yeah, in all fairness, I would say that if I was looking for a job and I had the choice to actually put my resume on LinkedIn or on Gravity, even though it was very much tailored towards, I don't know, IoT or something that Gravity aims to do, I still would go for LinkedIn. But I mean, that is now. Who knows what it will be in 10 years from now? That could change. So it could be a model. Okay, but at least it never hurts to explore options. Yeah, I was very curious actually, because what made me think when I was listening to your presentation was actually, would there be, could we make a case that where actually Gravity could become like an educator, where people, students would come to Japan, and they part-time they would engage in real-time programming and actually working for clients and get some hands-on experience, and part-time study Japanese. That of course would not be very profitable for Gravity, but still, with some subsidies, with some with the right incentives, it could still be worthwhile. So yeah, I thought that was actually something that is worth pursuing further.
Yes.
Because it also fits very close to the infrastructure that already exists within Gravity. So that's just so I was really wondering whether this would be attractive for Vietnamese students, or whether most Vietnamese students feel that, oh, this Japanese is just too bloody hard. Let's just not. Well, I mean, and actually I would agree. If I would have known then what I know now, then I would never have come here. But yeah, okay, it's too late.
Well, yes, I really love your idea, because I think it's kind of resemble ambassador program, some kind of ambassador program where we can really provide them with their heads-up service, and then they can be our promoter afterwards. And I think it will be a very nice approach. But I haven't thought about it. But now when it comes to it, I think it's a great idea when we can brand ourselves more proactively with ambassador program. And
Right.
also, I can guarantee you Vietnamese as much hotter than Japanese. And Japan is boiling hot in Vietnam in summer.
Yeah, right. Well, the summers in Japan, in Tokyo, are not that soft either, actually. But okay, so all right, thank you very much. I think that was actually something that I picked up, that I thought, oh, that actually would be pretty. That's a pretty interesting idea you had there.
Thank you. And
okay. Anybody else?
If there are no questions, then we could end this presentation.
Kimoto-san,
Jason, first suggest to me is why don't you approach a social security social sector organization? In Vietnam, there's the same kind of organization.
Social security organization.
Yeah.
You mean in the organization that help the underprivileged people?
In Malaysia, Human Resource Ministry handles a social security organization. super opportunities to younger engineers, IT engineers. By the way,
Kimoto-san, sorry. Uno-san, please microphone onegaishimasu.
Yeah, already muted.
Oh, no.
No, it's open. I can hear you very clearly. Thank you.
okay. Okay. Is it clear? Okay.
No, yeah, okay, good.
Okay. Jason, I have a question. First, suggest me, why don't you handle the social security organization in Malaysia? That organization was handled by Human Resource Ministry. In other side, in Vietnam, there is the same kind of the organization. Is there any same kind of the organization?
Yes, exactly. Well, because before this today presentation, I have discussed with Vice before, and I have already know about his idea. And when I looked into the figure of Vietnamese unemployment rate, it's rather low. It's not even up to 2% of unemployment rate. It's rather low compared to Malaysia. It's like just half as much as Malaysia unemployment rate. And with the unemployment rate in Vietnam, it does not really come from people who are fully industrially ready and fully qualified, but comes from people who cannot get access to fundamental and compulsory education. And from the point where they can get proper education on very foundation basis to where they can actually become a software engineer, I think it's a very long way, and I cannot see anywhere on the path gravity can help them to approach the from their beginning point to the last point, that is land them a dream job. So that's why I didn't consider that option in Vietnam.
Okay, thank you.
So are there any questions for me?
Okay, if all good, thank you so much, Jason, for a presentation. And thanks, everyone. Thanks to all who participated. And there are many things that we have to consider before we start marketing. So especially I would like to thank Uno-san and Ed-san for your advices. So we will consider all your advices and points before we start marketing in Malaysia and Vietnam. So that's all from our side for today's
Thank you guys for the preparations and for the presentations. Much appreciated. Great job.
Thank you.
And thanks to our presenters as well, Faiz and Jason.
Okay.
And I would like to introduce Noor Fasila. She's here. She's my previous internship student. And now she actually continued to work with our company as a software engineer after her internship.
Okay. See you guys. And Vishwa, I would like long time no see, Vishwa. Please explain your relation to daily life. What kind of visa do you have now?
Hi, Kimoto-san. Yeah, it's long time. But like I'm joining Uno school. The last time I think I joined was after coming back from Japan to India. And like in the last year, I don't think I have joined Uno school. So like when I came back from Japan, I joined this startup and I started working as a software engineer there. And now like the startup is growing tremendously. They are valued at $1 billion. It is a grocery e-commerce now.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So it is very popular in India. Like we are operating at a scale of almost like $100, 100 orders a minute.
Cool. That's great to hear. Congratulations.
What are you selling? Drugs?
We are selling.
Sorry.
So like India has like almost the second largest population in the world. So we have a lot of scope where like people wants to order groceries, but they are not capable to get the groceries on time. So we have started a new model in which we deliver groceries in 15 minutes or less.
That's
Where
impressive.
do you live now?
I live in India,
No, which city?
Delhi.
Oh,
Oh, Delhi.
But we are operating like all over India.
Okay.
And what is your so 50 minutes or less? I need to know how does your logistics works? Do you have people on bicycles with little baskets on them that do the final the fine distribution, or how do you do it?
Okay, so I'll give you like a broad idea. So our last mile is of delivery partners which serve the community via electric bikes, like which via electric motorbikes. And we are also having a lot of dark stores. By dark stores, I mean these are small warehouses which are located like in 2 kilometers radius from a residential complex. So that whenever someone orders, we pick it. The delivery partner goes and pick it up from the dark store and then delivers it to the customer. And that dark store has various automated processes. So whenever an order is placed, it takes less than 1 minute to pack that order and give it to the delivery partner.
Oh my God.
Mini warehouses.
Yeah, they are many warehouses and they are getting replenished almost 10 times a day from bigger warehouses which exist outside the city.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've actually taken the concept of warehousing and replicated that on a finer scale. Right. Because I can imagine that actually the last hub must be very difficult to take with traffic in cities like Delhi.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like before that, like this company is a little bit old. So when they started, they were operating like whenever you place an order, you will get that order in almost like 3 to 4 days, because it takes time to get the order from a place which is outside the city, because we needed very large warehouses to get that kind of like stock, to keep that kind of stock on which the orders on the scale which we were operating in. But people were like, we still didn't had our product market fit, because people were still not very happy with the service, because it takes 3 days to get their groceries.
You needed to find that pig actually that people wanted to have.
So we were operating at 30 orders a minute like before that, but when we moved towards like a model in which you can get groceries in less than 15 minutes, the order rate just got shooted, and then we knew that this is our product market fit. And like
oh, sorry, continue.
and like our plan is like we want to master groceries for now, but our plan is to make an e-commerce which is 10 minutes ready. So like now if you make if you think of ordering something, the least you can get in India I can tell about India is that Amazon Prime gives you anything for like 1 or 2 days. Like the minimum amount of time you have to wait for a product to deliver is 1 to 2 days. But 10 minutes is a whole new segment. To 10 to 15 minutes is a
It
segment.
is amazing. So
Yes.
you're attacking Amazon at the point where they are uniquely where they have a unique selling point. They are the strongest. This is what they do best. That's where you decided to attack them, and that's where you're winning.
Yes.
Does your company actually own any stocks? So meaning that you buy your stocks, or is it basically put in there by the suppliers and you're just doing the logistics?
Yeah. So basically, like till now, we are the ones who have all the stocks, and we are the ones who are distributing. Like the company's name is Grofers. So Grofers is the one which is procuring all the products and then delivering it to customers. But now, as we want to like increase our scale, and like we are having 100 orders a minute, but our aim is to reach 1,000 orders a minute at the end of this year. So to reach that scale, we would not be able to open as many mini warehouses that will be owned by grofers itself, because it takes a lot of like time to
Financing.
find spaces.
Yes.
Then you have to give training to people, and it takes a lot of time to like open one warehouse. So so for now, if we open one mini warehouse, it takes almost a month to open one warehouse. But our aim is to open 12 mini warehouses a day, so that we can reach 10,000 stores. And for now, we are only having 115 stores. So that's when we are going to a marketplace model. So now what we are doing is we are asking entrepreneurs, local shops, local supermarkets, who wants to participate in this era of 10 minutes delivery, and they will convert their stores into grofers mini warehouses, and they'll help us deliver the orders and have the stocks, so that we don't have to own everything. We will just be a franchisee which they can take, and then they will be a grofers mini warehouse, and then like they will be operating, they will be getting all the orders from grofers, but they will be not owned by grofers, and grofers will be asking for a commission from them.
Yes.
But
So,
let me get this straight. So how much IT and technology is involved in this? It must be pretty expensive to set up a warehouse like this. Or am I missing this? This doesn't work with robotics and all that.
So
No.
robotics is not involved as of yet, because like in India, labor is pretty cheap. So
Okay.
the population this big.
Yeah, no, that's complete. You're 100% right.
So the main IT part of this whole idea is to have softwares which facilitate people to do their work more efficiently. So we are having like we are having automatic replenishment, we are having machine learning, where we see like in this locality, this pack of noodles is getting ordered like 10 for at a rate of 10 orders per minute, so we have to replenish it 10 times a day. And there are some products which are not getting ordered, so we can decrease their replenishment cycle. So this is a very automated process from which we do the replenishment, and also handling the scale of these many orders via a consumer app. You also have to maintain and see what all features you are getting, the user experience the person is getting. And like when you have like a lot of delivery partners, you also have to maintain like which route they take to reach the customer's address fastest. And then you also, if a person is taking like 5 orders, then you also have to find the most optimal route so that he can deliver all the five orders on the way without wasting any time. Then you also have to give like metrics in which like the person, the whole store, the person and the engineering team is like what are the bottlenecks. So if I can give them the metric, like if there is a mini warehouse and I can say that the ideal time all the mini warehouses is taking 1 minute for packing an order, but you are taking 2 minutes to pack an order, so there is an inefficiency in your system. So I will put in some more people in your packing stations, so that we can like kill that efficiency and kill that inefficiency and make your process more efficient. So that's where the IT comes into play. And like we have like when I joined, we were like a team of 50 people for the technology part, and now there is almost 294 tech people like after we have started growing. So we are hiring and we are still hiring. Like our aim is to get to 500 tech people. And like as the technology is growing, we are also like recently I built something which was like an auto replenishment service via some IoT sensors. So what it does was whenever so a customer have a smart container, and that smart container is having, for example, tea. So whenever someone like and they are like using that tea, and whenever that tea goes down a certain level, the order gets automatically placed, and whenever you are about to finish that tea, the order will be delivered automatically without you even being reactive to the process that my tea got finished, now I have to order something.
You have been paying close attention while you were in Japan. You've stolen that from Kanban.
I stole it from somewhere else, because
Yeah.
and
Oh, really? Okay. Okay. Okay.
I
Okay.
have a more small question, like because I get to know that Indian like lifestyle is getting more complex, but mini warehouse will limit the SKUs of the merchandises. So is what's the way of you're solving the merchandise SKU limited problem?
that's a very interesting question. So what we are doing is like you are absolutely correct. So when we have bigger warehouses, we had a lot of assortment, and we also had a lot of inventory of that assortment. So that's why we needed a very bigger space. And if you need a very big space, you can't get it into the city. You have to get it outside the city. So now when like we have smaller warehouses, so first of all, we made so whatever like infrastructure we are using to build the warehouse, the mini warehouse, our infrastructure is highly optimized. So like for in the old warehouses, we were having some racks which were like only 6 feet tall, because a person like an average height in India is like 5 feet tall. So if a person has to climb a ladder and then go to the top, pick up some stuff, so it increased like waiting time, it increased packing time. So what we did was like as we employed some machine learning in this, and we tried to figure out like what are the essential items which everybody is ordering near that mini warehouse. And like at the rate which are ordering, we are replenishing that. Before, like when we have bigger warehouses, we replenish that warehouse 1 time a day. But now we are replenishing that small mini warehouse 10 times a day. So in the morning, so because in the morning many people are ordering milk, many people are ordering coffees, many people are ordering tea, and many people are ordering bread, eggs. So these are the products which like people order from like 6 a.m. to like 12 p.m. So these are the products I have to replenish my whole mini warehouse with, because these are the orders people are ordering at that time. But after 12, people start ordering for lunch. So people would be ordering rice, people would be ordering some other stuff. So we are highly like dynamic with with what products are there in my mini warehouse. And this gets keeps changing at a very fast pace. So you don't have to
Yes.
put, like a lot of dump into your mini warehouse. What you have to do is you have to be smart about it, and you just have to keep what is the people ordering at that amount that time, so that you can fulfill their orders. So this way we did not sacrifice on our assortment, we just increased our assortment, but we went with a smart way, that I'll just keep those things which are being ordered at that time, and I'll just keep changing according to like whatever people are ordering. So like our algorithms are like pretty smart. So whenever we see a change in trend of some people ordering some different things, what we do is we just change the inventory, because it's already replenishing 10 times a day.
Yes.
How
Wow.
do your order pickers find their way in their warehouse, because it's constantly changing?
Yeah, because for that we have an app. So what it does.
Okay. So basically they get a pick route on their app.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Okay.
whenever they get an order, they also get a map. So on which aisles you have to go, and on which column you will get that product. You just have to pick it, and then you have to pack it. So
Perfect. Impressive system.
Mm. There's one very stupid question. I'm looking for Grovers in India, but it doesn't come up.
no,
How do
it's
you spell it?
Grofers, Grofers.
With an F. Sorry. Yes, got it. Okay. Well, this sounds very exciting. Sounds very exciting and very difficult to maintain, because what do you do with the items that you don't sell, that, for example, just stay in stock? Are you bringing them back to the bigger warehouse if you want to get rid of them or something? Because you need to fill up your mini warehouse. It has a lot of difficulties. I used to work in ERP, and I found that to be one of the most challenging tasks. Warehouse management and those things. A lot of the things that you mentioned ring a bell, and I see that the basic concept haven't changed, but the complexities that you are addressing and the complexities that we were addressing at the time were much smaller as the complexities that we were addressing. But I get a headache when I think about it. Oh, very challenging. So you're enjoying it.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. And you have a day off. That's very unusual for working at a startup.
So like I took a day off today because like I was going to for a friend's birthday, but tomorrow I have to go to the office on a Sunday.
I see. I see. Hmm. Well, enjoy. I will keep an eye on it, and I will definitely look into this. It's amazing from what you described, the way it works, the way it has been designed, the way it leverages the typical situation in India. It has adopted to the infrastructure there, and that actually you're attacking the world's strongest retailer in the area where it's actually completely dominating, where everybody feels that that is not anything that anyone will dispute. This is very, very interesting.
And the the interesting part is like when we started doing 15 minutes delivery, like we got a lot of we got a lot of like demotivating things from other companies, because like it was never done, and people thought that it's not possible. So but when we started doing it and it started to work, like it took us like a month to figure out like how to actually build it and how to actually start. And now when when it has started working, now other companies which were saying that it's not even possible and you're just wasting your time, they are also started doing the same thing, and they are started doing the exact same thing. But now like we were the first one to the market, so we still have an edge over it. So yeah, but it's really interesting like how people like change their thoughts like when they see that something has started to work.
Right, right. So you get now other Crovers in India who are trying to get a piece of the market. But if your company is being valued, I don't know if that's based on actual. I'm assuming that your multipliers must be pretty good because of the promise of the first company of actually being able to do it. Then you must be making quite good money then, as an organization.
So now like if I talk about like our EBITDA numbers, so those I don't think we are making any profit right now, because there is a lot of gaps which we are just finding a product market fit, which after that we can like start optimizing the costs. So
Right.
for I don't think we are like profitable in sense, but we are the market we are like trying to capture, it is a huge market.
Okay.
So that's why like the investors are also backing us.
Right. And honestly speaking, there's only market room for 2, maybe 3 players, not more. Otherwise, it's not efficient. You're duplicating infrastructure, which is ultimately not healthy for India.
Yep.
So the regulator should maybe step up and say, well,
Yeah.
Vishra, according to the LinkedIn, are you still learning the AI?
Yes.
Could you have a presentation of the October or November in the school?
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay. I will arrange, Kimota and Eva would arrange that opportunity to you.
Yeah, in if we do in November, like I can present like because I am working on like on an auto replenishment system in Rovers, so I can.
Edo-san would like to ask many questions.
definitely. And I think what would be wonderful, not for many people, to not only about the intricacies of AI, but how AI is applied to solve very complex problems like the ones that you are describing. I mean, that is what most of us can grasp. As when it comes to real AI, many people, including myself, they just get lost, and they look like they understand it, but actually we don't.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Vishwas. Thank you, everybody. Please close this event.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Really appreciate
And
it. All the best.
before we end, can we
Robert.
just take a snapshot?
Definitely.
Photo session, yeah. Shall we?
Okay. Okay.
Just one more time. Okay.
One more time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Done. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye. Have a
All
good day.
right.
Thank you
Have a
so
nice
much.
weekend, everyone. Thank you.
Everyone, thank
Have a nice
you.
weekend.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye-bye.